Alright, end of the line and end of the classic series. Let's go with the second to last stage, which I'm sure you can already figure out means it's time for boss rush. So, as we lead up to the boss rush, I should just of course point out that there's only one Wily Castle theme, just one song, and it's okay. So, certainly not one of my favorite Wily Castles for music. Again, it's a fine song, it's just... I mean, I can say this so many times, but it's no Mega Man 10 Wily Castle. In addition, I actually, for once, recorded all of the extra, flavor text and stuff, so I don't actually have to go over all of the Robot Master descriptions while I fight them. We're going to see that later, so this would be a bit redundant. Instead, let's just make up reasons why Robot Masters are weak to what they are. I mean, obviously, those metal skates, oh boy, those conduct the hell out of electricity. He's gonna get shocked so hard. This weapon does a pretty good job of interrupting Tundra Man, so... wow, I way fucking mistimed that one. Oddly enough, this was one of my better runs. But yeah. Does interrupt Tundra Man, so a little combination of... speed gear... What the fuck was that? Speed gear and, interrupting him with that, and some actually, well-placed, shots from, your Buster. I missed a lot, so I ran out of weapon energy, and you should be fine. I've had runs of this boss without, running out of energy, but for some reason, just like the last 3, I could not beat him without running out. Whoops. Oh well. Anyway, speaking of electricity, guess what? We're gonna throw balls at Fuse Man. And you know what? Here we go. Insulation. Also, I'm sure Fuse Man was actually surprisingly bad at dodgeball. I feel like Fuse Man, all the time, was just trying to do dodgeball, and then he ran straight into a ball thrown at somebody else. Every time. Happened consistently. And you know what? I can sympathize with you there, Fuse Man. Like, these past 2 bosses have been, I tried to dodge something simple and fuck up, so like, I'm with you, dude. I also fail at simple tasks. Alright, so let's grab the energy, which I need for once. And who's next? Well, they're weak to Blast Man, so who else could it be but Block Man? Alright, so of course, we're just the demolition crew, let's blow him to smithereens. You can knock him into this phase very easily with a powered up bomb. So do that. Now unfortunately, this doesn't have a lot of energy, so you do not want to miss like I did right there, or you're kind of screwing yourself over. Yeah, I'm already close to done. Thankfully though, one fully powered up bomb can actually take care of this really easily. Which is good because that's the easiest time I had on that phase. Usually I suck at that one, but I actually just took him out immediately. Anyway, Blockman, what are you good for? Acid. Well, you know what? It won't be fine after we drop blocks into it. We are making an unsuitable swimming condition for you, Acid Man. And then he jumped on my head in retaliation, which, fair. Of course, this is another one where you just kind of want to speed gear your way through this. Try not to use speed gear continually. That's just in general good advice. You really want it to be more of a punctuation. Use it to set yourself up for a dodge. Just keep it to that, and you probably won't run out of heat gauge. Or fill up the heat gauge, as the proper term. Alright, who's next? Alright, hey, it's Impact Man. Well, obviously, Impact Man is weak to Acid Barrier, because one of his segments, well, I mean, it's unfortunate, but it does do acid, and, the other segments of Impact Man, they don't appreciate that for obvious reasons. I mean, they're all in this together, and they're God, this run fucking sucked. Why didn't I do a retake? Anyway, they're all in this together. So, you know, it sucks when your terrible brother just comes in to work having done drugs. They don't appreciate it. They want him to quit, he won't. And now they've all been killed. Alright, well, 3 bosses left. Who is left? Well, whoever it is, they're weak to Impact Man's weapon, so let's just stab him. Okay, I mean, this one's fairly obvious. This is Bounce Man, so he's weak to being violently murdered by... What is this again? Just a pile driver. Oh god, I forgot the phrase. Hey, future me, you handle words. You figure out words for me, please. Anyway, speed gear, of course. Yeah, no, that just wrecks this one. Sorry, my speed gear was better. Now get shanked. Alright, and I just murdered everyone's favorite mascots. The kids will all weep bitter tears and curse Mega Man's name. Alright, so who's weak to being set on fire, other than most of us? Well, Blast Man here. I mean, he loves explosions. Can't get enough of them, he thinks explosions are an art, so obviously, we're just ruining his exhibit. We're just fucking this whole thing up. We're making all of his explosions happen early. Wow, I completely missed that one. I didn't really need to use the W tank, but I did anyway. I could have shot him to death at this point, no problem. I guess that did make it a little bit easier. Anyway, last and the one I hate most, it's Torchman. If it weren't for the fact that I'd memorized the clockwise order, I should have done counterclockwise. Because Torchman's the reason most of these takes fucking sucked. Because I suck against him, so just being able to beat him without getting too nervous and fucking up too much. Yeah, no, yeah. it took a few takes to do that, because I botched Torchman a whole bunch. And even this one wasn't that good, but I don't like fighting him. For some reason, to be fair, I didn't have a lot of takes of his stage, and that included actually having to fight Torchman himself. I could not get an even rhythm for this guy. But I survived without having to use an E-tank, so I called that good enough. That was my goal. Get through all bosses without an E-tank, and well, I did it. I probably should have done it a few more times, but if I haven't mentioned that I basically did the entire fortress in one night, like, I completed stage 1 and just kinda steamrolled the rest. So yeah, if it weren't for me riding high on that, I probably would have done a few more takes. Really should have. Those weren't my best runs against any of the bosses, really. Ah, well, that's what happens when you stop doing no-hit runs. You get super complacent really quickly. I have eaten the lotus of, wow, this took me a fraction of the time it normally fucking does to actually complete one of these episodes. Amazing, I can actually do this and only feel a little bad about the finished product. I'll do better going back into the X series, I promise. I know those games a bit better. Anyway, though, this is, of course, the lead-up to the final boss. Probably one of the longer ones, but it's not particularly difficult to get through this. And we've got a few enemies for grinding, but yeah, no, it's fairly simple. You're probably not going to die in this one. In addition, if you're playing on superhero difficulty, the Yasichi actually makes a reappearance. That's the item you've probably only seen in Mega Man 1. It's the little pinwheel-looking thing that refills all of your HP and weapons. But yeah, no, it's made a couple of other appearances, but yeah, I've only seen it in Mega Man 1. But yeah, you could get that in that difficulty, and it will do the same thing. It'll refill everything.
Ah, Mega Man, congratulations are in order. Congratulations to me, that is. My double clear did all the work.
Wow, good job using the double kill system. Maybe you should have played the game without it. You've cheated not only the game, but yourself, Mega Man.
Stop me if you think you can.
But guess what? I've got many gears. You two can't stand up to this.
Alright, so, Wily Machine. It springs to life, opens up one eager eye, you shoot that eye with acid. I had a little bit of trouble actually hitting it, but you do want to use the missiles to kind of platform, which is kind of tricky because, well, I mean, it's acid barrier. It does kind of make the missiles explode if you don't jump right, so if you're having trouble, he does lower himself sometimes, but thankfully it does also do a ton of damage when you do actually hit it. But yeah, now you actually have to use the missiles to platform. Alright, well, I wouldn't want to open myself up to being splashed by acid, but good luck with this one, Wily. Yes, you also have to look out for the other projectiles, but that's not as much of a big deal. Also, I have never noticed that that's just Dr. W. He's just shooting his logo at me. What are you, Superman? Alright, and of course, cool background, but it's here for the Wily capsule. This is perhaps the easiest Wily capsule in the series. None of his projectiles are terribly difficult to dodge, and they don't do that much damage either. And of course, this isn't Mega Man 7, so we don't have to worry about getting stunned by every single one of them. So he does actually use the double gear system here. He can use speed gear, power gear. Yep, there he goes with power gear. He can also use speed gear to basically just, like, fly around the room and shoot you with projectiles. However, power gear makes him do this, and that opens him up for attacks. So I mentioned this is the easiest Wily capsule in the series, and I say this because this is my first take. Yeah, no, I just came in here and did this on my first try, and I didn't even need that M-tank. I could have just used a double W-tank instead. I could have done that, and it would have been fine. I was fine on HP. Oh, plan B.
Leave me no choice. Time for plan B.
Check out this move! Speedrun strats!
Spare me. I'm a helpless old man.
It's such a dumb joke, but I love it. But anyway, though, yeah, that's the easiest Wily capsule. Literally, I have not seen this game be played in years. I have not played it for myself until now. This was my first time actually fighting the boss. I could have beaten that without an M-tank. I just wanted to do that for dramatic effect, you know? It's just the last moment and I fully heal up.
Will you never learn from your mistakes?
But yeah, no, that was easy. He can't actually use the double gear system, though. Like, he can use both his attacks at the same time, and basically just have hammers and move around fast and shoot projectiles.
Look at Mega Man and tell me.
That being said, though, ease of final boss aside, I do really like this ending.
All I see is the instrument of my downfall.
He kicked my butt and I don't like it!
Mega Man wields tremendous power, but he has the intelligence to use it wisely.
Unlike you, you're dumb as fuck.
But yeah, no, Dr. Light comes in to try to convince Wily, like, hey, you know, your double gear system was actually fine. Together we could actually make something pretty great.
And join me again.
And Wily is gonna be Wily, of course, but I actually do like the past few endings have been, you know, a bit softer on Wily. I mean, look, he's always going to be evil, but, like, he's a Saturday morning cartoon villain. Ultimately, he's harmless. All he does is destroy buildings and menace people a little bit, but nobody particularly dies in these. They just get menaced, but it's fine. And the robots can be rebuilt. They're rebuilt all the time, and, well, I mean, let's not actually think of the implications of that. That's actually a little fucked up. Ignoring that, though. Ignoring the actually fucked up things Wily does, like sending robots to their deaths when they're almost sapients, he's not terrible. He is goofy evil, who could have been good, and we observe that. Even if ultimately he's just a bastard. More on that later, though. For now, that is the end of Mega Man 11. Yeah, no, fantastic game. I loved this one. Looks great. Soundtrack's not bad. I have a few favorite songs, and I think the instrumentation is, you know, I like it more than, like, the PlayStation, or the 16-bit games, rather. Like, those soundtracks were fine, but I feel like 11's is, that's not bad. It's a few steps above. Not my favorite, but pretty good. And yeah, again, the instrumentation isn't quite as off-putting as it is for those two games. Well, 3, 7, 8, and Forts. But the level design I really love, and as I keep saying, classic Mega Man games kind of live and die on how good their weapons are. The Robot Master weapons are what I kind of look for in these games, and Mega Man 11's doesn't disappoint. I like pretty much all of the weapons. Some, of course, get more use than others, but, you know, it's kind of just the whole thing. That's just the whole series. It's not as bad as Mega Man 2, where Metal Blade was just far and away the best weapon, and it's not like Mega Man 10, where I didn't really feel comfortable using anything but the Bubble Shield. It's all a very solid weapon set to use, and I love the level designs, and level aesthetics especially. Blast Man's kind of the best of the lot, to be honest, but I can't expect every stage to be Blast Man, because Blast Man was just designed to be, hey, here's this theme park that just starts fucking exploding at the end, and that is so fun and very memorable. And again, like, not all of the rest of them stand out quite as strong, but in general, they're all very strong levels with a lot of personality to them. Even Acid Man, which is the stage I'm the most on, it does have its own identity, and it's pretty strong. I just think the level design part of it is a bit too rude. I don't care for overspikes. As for the Gear Fortress, well, it's very weirdly paced. Stage 1 feels like it had the most work put into it. Stage 2 feels okay, there's a lot going on there as well for the most part. And then you get to Stage 3 and it's just the boss rush, there's not much level to it. And then Stage 4 is a very basic lead up to the final boss. And that's it, there's just 2 proper levels, and that's all there is to it. One song amongst all the stages. And in terms of aesthetic, it's not particularly memorable either. I don't think 11 necessarily falls apart at the end, and I wouldn't call Gear Fortress terrible. Look, I'm gonna level with you. I prefer the fact that it's kind of short and easy. I would prefer that to a really annoying Wily Fortress or 2 Fortresses, because I didn't like the 2 Fortresses ever. I never liked having 2 sets of final areas. Just only give me one. I only want one. And then there's like 2 with that really annoying boss that you either have to be stupidly precise for, just almost impossibly precise, or you just have to destroy the walls and then die and then get more item. I prefer Gear Fortress to that, because I did have fun with Stage 1, and then less fun with the boss of Stage 1, and Stage 2 was fun to learn as well. I had fun with what little was there. Anything else? I can't really wrap up right now because there's actually a post-credits scene, but I'm actually done with my final thoughts pretty quickly. Some of the longest credits we've had for a classic Mega Man game, and I just have the usual amount to say, but instead of having not much time to say it, I had plenty of time to say it. Mega Man 11 is very good, and I think it's important that it exists, because it shows that somebody other than Inafune can make Mega Man. I mean, look, Inafune was never like the #1 Mega Man guy. He's the auteur of the Mega Man series. A lot of work gets ascribed to him, and he was important, of course. It's just he can't really rein himself in, is the issue. As evident now. Now that he's had one game under his belt and what the hell even happened to Red Ash, he's maybe a little overambitious. Maybe he has a few too many things in the pot at once. But I think it's good that 11 exists. I feel like some people might be on Mega Man 11, but I don't think anybody is going to say it's terrible, and it definitely proves that, like, hey, yeah, no, other people can make Mega Man games. Other people respect the series itself. We are at a period where people can say, hey, what made the other Mega Man games good, and strive for that. We don't have to just put Inafune up on a pedestal and say only he can make the Mega Man games now, which is good because he's not with Capcom, so if he were the only person good at making Mega Man games, we would either not have them, or they'd just all be bad. Not to say Capcom can't fumble with things, because they have before, but, you know. 11 was very good. It was out of nowhere for me. I did not realize they'd even announced an 11 until it was almost out, but yeah, no, it came out, and it's incredible. It's one of my favorites. So, credits seem to be wrapping up, which is good, because at this point I'm just gonna circle around saying, yeah, no, I love this game, I had a good time with it. And maybe that's in part because I only had one character to play as, and did not put myself up to a no-hit run. Maybe that helped me enjoy it a bit more than 10, but to be fair, I was kind of groaning about playing 10 very early on into recording footage for 10. That one kind of took a while, because I kind of hit the floor almost immediately.
Mega Man reporting home.
Alright, here we go, post-credits.
Right on time, Mega!
No, there's more than that, don't worry. I didn't keep you waiting just for that.
At the rate
There I go!
we should have all 8 robots back on their feet by dinner time.
And then we'll kill them all in like 3 months.
Install Mega's double gear system into auto?
Why would you do that?
I'll remove it later, of course. Just
That's
as
a good
soon as auto's
idea!
done.
I'll go mad with power!
So this is why you came all the way to the Gear Fortress.
Yes. We were able to recover all their primary components, so they should be just like new. It would be a shame.
No, seriously, it's
to let
bad if I can do this sort of thing!
when there's still so much good.
I crave the blood of innocence already!
Isn't this
That was
great,
quick.
Mega?
You bet.
Otto, you're slowing down! Why don't you pick up the pace?
You know there is a meter, right?
If I go any faster, you'll be picking up my pieces.
There's a whole heat gauge and everything! Anyway, I'm dead now. This is how this game ends. Not with a victory, but with your old pal Otto dying.
Nah, don't worry, he's fine. They're all fine. Alright, that is it for Mega Man 11. I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you next time for a bonus part. After that, we're going to be wrapping up the classic series.
Hey, you, looking at the screen. Let me ask you a question. Do you like awesome things that are awesome? Then you gotta play this game, dude, and make the bad guys cry like an anime fan on prom night.